Welcome to Stairway to English. In today's listening and reading practice, we will explore the most powerful techniques polyglots use to learn languages fast. Listen carefully, read along, and try to repeat after the narrator. This way, your English will grow naturally, just like a real polyglot's. If you enjoy learning this way, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and write a comment to tell us which technique you'll try first. Let's begin your English journey together, step by step, every day. Episode 1: The Secret Habits of Polyglots: How They Learn Languages Fast. Learning a new language can sometimes feel like standing at the bottom of a tall mountain. You look up, and it seems impossible to reach the top. But what if someone gave you a secret map? A map that shows the easiest and fastest way to climb. That is what polyglots do. A polyglot is a person who speaks many languages. Some speak 5, 10, or even 20 languages fluently. They are not superhuman. They just know some powerful methods that help them learn faster and remember better. In this episode, we will begin exploring how they do it and how you can too. The first thing all polyglots agree on is motivation. They know exactly why they want to learn a language. Maybe it's to travel, to meet people, or to understand music and culture. Without a strong reason, most people stop learning English after a few weeks. Polyglots build emotional connections with the language. When they learn English, they don't just study grammar. They watch English movies, listen to songs, and imagine themselves speaking naturally with native speakers. Their motivation becomes personal and emotional. The second technique is consistency. Many people study English for 3 hours one day and then stop for a week. That does not work. Polyglots know the secret is not studying hard, but studying every day. Even 15 minutes a day is powerful if you do it regularly. It's like watering a plant. A little water every day keeps it alive and growing. Polyglots make language learning part of their daily routine, just like brushing their teeth or checking their messages. That is what keeps progress steady. Another important polyglot habit is input before output. This means they listen and read a lot before they try to speak perfectly. When babies learn their first language, they spend years just listening. Polyglots do the same. They listen to English podcasts, audiobooks, and YouTube channels that are interesting to them. They read simple books, online stories, or even subtitles. This builds a strong language feeling. When it's time to speak, the words come more naturally because they have heard them many times before. Polyglots also use the power of context learning. Instead of memorizing long vocabulary lists, they learn words in sentences or situations. For example, they don't just memorize the word book, they learn phrases like read a book, open a book, borrow a book, or book a hotel. This way, words connect to real-life meaning. It's easier to remember and use them correctly. Context gives the brain a story, and our brains love stories more than lists. Another tool they use is spaced repetition. This is a technique to remember new words for a long time. You review the word after 1 day, then 3 days, then a week, and so on. Every time you review it, your memory becomes stronger. Apps like Anki, Quizlet, or Memrise use this method. Polyglots say it's one of the most powerful learning systems ever created. It's like training your brain to never forget. One more secret polyglots use is speaking early, but without fear. They don't wait until their English is perfect. They start small. Short sentences, simple conversations, even talking to themselves in the mirror. They use the language to think, to plan their day, to describe what they see. This builds confidence. Mistakes don't scare them. Every mistake is just a small step toward fluency. They see mistakes as teachers, not enemies. But maybe the biggest secret of all is fun. Polyglots make language learning enjoyable. They turn it into a lifestyle, not a task. They learn with songs, movies, video games, memes, or conversations with friends. When learning feels like fun, your brain stays active and curious. You don't need to push yourself, it pulls you forward naturally. So, in this first episode, you've learned that becoming fluent, like a polyglot, doesn't require magic. It requires a clear reason, daily practice, a lot of listening and reading, smart vocabulary learning, and the courage to make mistakes. In the next episode, we'll go deeper into specific polyglot techniques that train your memory, improve your pronunciation, and help you think in English faster than ever before. The journey has just begun, and the mountain is not as high as it looks once you start walking. Keep climbing step by step, because every small effort adds up to something extraordinary. Episode 2. The Power of Listening and Mimicking. Many polyglots, or people who can speak several languages, believe that listening is the key to learning any language. They do not start by memorizing grammar rules or studying long vocabulary lists. Instead, they listen carefully to real conversations, songs, movies, and podcasts. They focus on how words sound, how people use intonation, and how sentences flow naturally. By doing this, they train their ears to recognize rhythm and pronunciation. For them, language learning is not just about what you know, it's about what you can hear and repeat correctly. One of the most famous polyglots, Luca Lampariello from Italy, says that you must fall in love with the sound of the language. This means you should enjoy the way it feels when you speak it. If you enjoy listening, your brain starts to copy sounds automatically. Just like a child learns their mother tongue, your brain begins to repeat what it hears. That's why polyglots spend hours listening before speaking. They try to mimic native speakers as closely as possible. They copy the accent, rhythm, and even emotion behind the words. When they start speaking, they don't worry about mistakes. They know that perfect grammar is not the goal at the beginning. The goal is to sound natural and feel confident. Polyglots often record their own voices while speaking. Then they listen to those recordings and compare them with native speakers. This helps them hear their own progress and find where they can improve. For example, a Spanish learner might record themselves saying, "¿Cómo estás?" and then compare it with how native speakers say it. Over time, this small habit builds confidence and fluency. Another important technique polyglots use is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a sentence in your target language and immediately repeating it, almost at the same time. This exercise helps improve your pronunciation, speed, and memory. It also forces your brain to think in the new language rather than translating word by word. At first, it feels difficult, but after a few days, your mouth and brain start to work together smoothly. Polyglots also understand that listening is not passive. When they listen, they actively pay attention to small details. They notice where stress falls in a word, how native speakers link words together, and how tone changes meaning. For example, in English, saying, "Really?" with a high tone means surprise. But with a low tone, it can mean disbelief or boredom. Understanding this difference can completely change how others react to you. Listening and mimicking are also powerful because they help overcome fear. Many learners feel nervous about speaking because they think they will sound strange or make mistakes. But when you listen and copy real speech every day, you start to feel more natural. You build a kind of muscle memory for speaking. You don't have to think too much. The right words just come out. This is why polyglots can switch between languages so easily. If you want to follow this technique, here's what you can do. Every day, choose a short audio in English, maybe a short story, a YouTube video, or a podcast. Listen to it 3 times. The first time, just listen. The second time, repeat after the speaker, even if you don't understand every word. The third time, read along with the transcript. This simple habit can transform your listening and speaking skills in just a few weeks. Remember, learning a language is not only about studying, it's about training your brain and your mouth. Listening and mimicking help connect the two. So if you want to learn English like a polyglot, start by listening deeply and speaking fearlessly. Because when you train your ear to truly hear English, your tongue will soon learn to speak it fluently. Episode 3. The Secret of Repetition and Smart Practice. Polyglots know something very important. Your brain learns best through repetition. But not just any repetition. It must be smart repetition. They don't repeat the same word in the same way again and again. Instead, they use the word in different contexts, sentences, and emotions. This is how they make the language a natural part of their memory. When you learn a new word, your brain needs time and reminders to store it deeply. If you only read it once, you will probably forget it in a few days. But if you see or hear the same word several times in different moments, it becomes part of your long-term memory. For example, if you learn the word curious, you might read it in a story today, hear it in a movie next week, and use it in your own sentence later. After a few repetitions, you no longer need to think. You just know what it means. Polyglots use a technique called spaced repetition. This means reviewing words at specific times before you forget them. For example, they might review new vocabulary 1 day later, then 3 days later, then 1 week later, then 1 month later. This pattern helps the brain remember longer. It's like watering a plant just enough to keep it alive and growing. There are even apps that help with this method, such as Anki or Memrise. But you can also do it with simple flashcards or notebooks. Another powerful tool is active recall. Instead of reading a list of words again and again, polyglots test themselves. They close their book and try to remember what the word means or how to use it in a sentence. This makes their brain work harder, and that effort strengthens memory. The more you make your brain search for information, the better you remember it later. But repetition is not only for vocabulary. Polyglots repeat listening and speaking exercises too. They listen to the same podcast many times, not because they don't understand it, but because every time they listen, they notice something new. Maybe a new tone, a faster pronunciation, or a new word connection. They also repeat speaking practice. For example, they might talk about the same topic several times, but using different words each time. One day they say, I like learning English because it helps me meet new people. The next day, they might say, studying English gives me the chance to talk with people from all over the world. This flexible repetition builds real fluency. Polyglots also use repetition in their daily life. They put sticky notes with English words around their home. They label their furniture, their food, even their mirror. Every time they see the word, they repeat it silently or out loud. They also think in English when doing simple activities, like making coffee or walking to work. This turns every moment into a language lesson. Another smart trick is to repeat with feeling. The more emotion you use, the faster you learn. When you say a new word, try to connect it with a picture, sound, or memory. For example, if you learn the word rainy, imagine the smell of rain, the sound of drops hitting your window, or the feeling of getting wet. Emotion gives words meaning, and meaning makes them unforgettable. Polyglots also know that boredom kills motivation, so they keep repetition fun. They watch movies, sing songs, and read books they actually enjoy. When you enjoy something, you don't even realize you're repeating, but your brain does the work anyway. That's why children learn songs so easily. They love them. If you want to use this technique, start small. Choose 10 words you want to learn this week. Review them every day, but in different ways. Write them, say them, listen to them in a podcast, and use them in sentences. At the end of the week, test yourself. You'll be surprised how much you remember. Repetition is not about doing more, it's about doing it right. Smart repetition makes your learning faster, stronger, and longer lasting. So next time you study English, don't be afraid to repeat, because repetition is not a sign of weakness. It's the secret of success. Episode 4. Immersion. Living the language every day. One of the most powerful secrets of polyglots is immersion. It means surrounding yourself with the language so that you live in it every day, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country. Immersion doesn't just help you study English, it helps you feel English. It makes the language part of your world, not just part of your study time. Many learners believe they need to travel abroad to experience immersion, but the truth is, you can create it right where you are. Polyglots design their daily life in English. They change the language on their phones, computers, and social media accounts. They listen to English songs in the morning, watch short English videos during lunch, and read English news or books before going to bed. Step by step, their brain starts to think in English naturally. Immersion works because it connects learning to real life. When you see, hear, and use English in different situations, your brain starts recognizing patterns automatically. You stop translating and start understanding meaning directly. For example, when you see the phrase, "What's going on?" again and again in different movies, you no longer think about its translation. You just feel what it means. Polyglots also use their curiosity. They don't only learn English from textbooks. They explore topics that interest them: technology, art, sports, psychology, or cooking, but in English. When you learn through things you love, the words stay longer in your memory. If you like cooking, you can watch English recipe videos, read food blogs, and write your own recipes in English. You're not just learning the language, you're using it with purpose. Another part of immersion is listening actively. Many learners listen to podcasts or watch movies passively, but polyglots focus their attention. They listen to a short clip several times. First, they listen to understand the general idea. Then, they listen again to catch details, pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. They may repeat what they hear, shadow the speaker's voice, and even record themselves to compare. This active process turns every video or audio into a personal lesson. Speaking is also a key part of immersion. Polyglots don't wait for perfect grammar before they start talking. They practice speaking from day one. They talk to themselves in English when alone, describing what they are doing, thinking, or feeling. They join online language exchanges, meet English speakers on apps, or join English discussion groups. They know that communication, not perfection, is the real goal. Every mistake is part of progress. Reading is another daily habit in immersion. Polyglots read short, simple things every day, like English quotes, short stories, or online posts. Even reading one page a day keeps their brain connected to the language. They often read out loud to improve pronunciation and rhythm. Some even keep English journals where they write about their day, their dreams, or what they learned. Writing helps them think deeply and organize their English thoughts. Immersion also changes how you feel about the language. The more you live in it, the more confident you become. At first, it may feel strange to hear English all day, but soon it becomes natural, like background music for your life. You start to dream in English, think in English, and even talk to yourself in English without noticing. That's when real transformation begins. Technology makes immersion easier than ever. You can follow English-speaking YouTubers, listen to English audiobooks, or chat with people from all over the world. Every moment connected to English helps you grow a little more. Even 5 or 10 minutes of exposure each day can make a big difference over time. The key is consistency, not perfection. Imagine how a baby learns their first language. They don't study grammar or vocabulary lists. They simply live in the language, listening, observing, and slowly repeating. This is the same principle of immersion. You absorb English naturally when you surround yourself with it, and your brain starts connecting everything faster. So, if you want to learn like a polyglot, stop separating English from your life. Don't keep it in a textbook. Let it be part of your day, your music, your entertainment, your conversations, and your thoughts. The more English becomes part of who you are, the faster and easier your progress will be. Immersion is not about where you live. It's about what you do every day. Live English, feel English, think English, and soon you'll become English in the way you express yourself. Episode 5: Confidence. Speak without fear, learn without limits. The final secret of polyglots is confidence. It's not just about knowing words and grammar. It's about believing that you can use them. Many learners study English for years, but stay silent because they are afraid of making mistakes. Polyglots, however, speak early, speak often, and speak bravely. They know that progress comes from action, not from waiting for perfection. Confidence doesn't mean speaking perfectly. It means speaking anyway. When you make a mistake, it's not a failure. It's a sign that you are learning. Every mistake shows your brain what to fix next. Polyglots don't hide from errors. They use them as tools for growth. They laugh at their mistakes, correct them, and move forward with even more courage. One way polyglots build confidence is by speaking to themselves. They practice English alone, describing what they see, what they're doing, or what they plan to do. They might say, I'm making breakfast, or I'm going to the store now. This private practice removes pressure and helps the brain get used to forming English sentences. It's like training your speaking muscles every day. Another technique is shadowing. It means listening to a short audio or video and speaking at the same time as the speaker, copying their rhythm, tone, and speed. This method helps improve pronunciation and fluency naturally. It also helps you feel more confident because you sound closer to a native speaker's rhythm. Polyglots also set small, realistic goals. Instead of saying, I will speak English perfectly, they say, today I will talk in English for 5 minutes, or I will learn to introduce myself confidently. Achieving small goals creates positive energy. It gives you proof that you're improving, and that proof builds confidence step by step. Another reason polyglots learn fast is that they don't compare themselves to others. They understand that every learner has a different path. Some people speak fast but make mistakes. Others speak slowly but accurately. Both are improving. Polyglots focus on their own journey and celebrate every bit of progress. Even one new word or one smoother sentence is a victory. They also control their inner voice. Many learners say, my English is bad, or I can't speak well. Polyglots change this mindset. They say, I'm still learning, or I'm getting better every day. Your words shape your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your confidence. When you talk positively to yourself, your brain starts to believe it, and your performance improves. Confidence grows when you use English in real situations. Join online language exchanges, comment on English videos, or talk to tourists in your city. The first few times may feel scary, but after each conversation, your fear becomes smaller. Real communication teaches more than any textbook ever could. Another secret is preparation. Before speaking, polyglots prepare simple sentences they can use in many situations. For example, phrases like, that's interesting. Can you say that again? Or, let me think about it. Having these ready helps you stay calm and continue talking even when you forget a word. They also control their emotional control. Nervousness can block your memory, but deep breathing or smiling helps your body relax. Polyglots know that the person they're talking to is not judging them. Most people admire anyone who tries to speak another language. Remember, communication is about connection, not perfection. Writing also builds confidence. When you write every day, even short paragraphs about your life, you organize your thoughts in English. It makes speaking easier later because your ideas are already clear in your mind. Confidence grows faster when you enjoy the process. Polyglots turn learning into a game. They celebrate when they understand a new song, finish an English movie without subtitles, or make someone laugh in English. They reward themselves for progress instead of criticizing themselves for mistakes. And, most importantly, they stay consistent. Confidence is not built in one day. It grows slowly, like a tree. Every word you speak, every video you watch, and every book you read is water for that tree. One day, without realizing it, you'll find yourself speaking fluently, comfortably, and naturally. So don't wait for confidence to appear before you start speaking. Speaking is how you build confidence. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. You don't need to be perfect to be proud of yourself. You just need to keep going step by step. Learning English like a polyglot is not only about languages, it's about mindset. You already have everything you need: curiosity, patience, and the courage to try. So live in English, love your mistakes, and speak without fear. Your voice deserves to be heard in any language.